Welcome to Cineights, where you get to know the best movies and series. Today's video is about Emma Stone best performances. I hope you enjoy this video. Be sure to watch until the end because I'm sure you will like it. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. La La Land 2016. Many actors win their Oscar for a role that's not close to their finest work. Happily, that's not the case with Emma Stone. She's never been better than she was as Mia, a struggling young actress who's trying to find herself just as she falls for a suave jazz pianist. La La Land has been debated, dissected, mocked, and scorned, but the film's many critics haven't really complained about Stone. That's because she's perfect. Hollywood is full of starlets, but none have just the right combination of wide-eyed optimism, snarky wit, and gal-next-door sweetness that Stone brought to the performance. Which moment in this nostalgic, bittersweet musical won her the Best Actress Oscar? Was it when she and Gosling tap dance in the Hollywood Hills? When they swirl among the stars at the Griffith Observatory? Was it the teary speech where Mia admits that maybe she's not talented enough to make it? Poor Things 2023. Stone's second collaboration with Yorgos Lanthimos is even wilder than the first, finding her delivering a master class in physical comedy as a naive innocent named Bella whose body was fished out of the river after she committed suicide. Now reawakened by Dr. Baxter, a mad scientist who lives for his unholy experiments, she doesn't know who she once was, babbling like an idiot and exuding the emotional intelligence of an infant. But Bella is a quick study, whisked away by a horny lawyer in this jet-black comedy, which may be the purest expression of her irreverent, inspired goofball side. She's a revelation in Poor Things, navigating Bella's sexual and personal evolution over the course of the film, transforming from a naive to a fully empowered young woman, consistently hilarious throughout. The Rocker 2008. It's insane to think there was a time in human existence that Bradley Cooper, Josh Gad, Christine Applegate, Jane Lynch, Jason Sudeikis, Will Arnett, Fred Armisen, Aziz Ansari, Dimitri Martin, Keir Gilchrist and Emma Stone all played supporting characters in a movie that starred Rainn Wilson, but, hey, 2008 was quite a year. Stone has a thankless, off-brand role as a moping member of a teenage rock band who drafts a former drummer in a Metallica-esque band to fill in so they can play their school prom. Magic in the Moonlight 2014. Stone spent 2 years trying out the role of Woody Allen's modern muse, not unlike Scarlett Johansson the decade before, but her stint didn't come with any Matchpoint-style breakthrough. The 2 movies she made with Allen were among the director's most formulaic work. She struggles particularly here as a mystic who performs illusions and inspires a cynical fellow magician, briefly, to suspend his disbelief. Certain actors benefit from Allen's hands-off approach, but Stone might not be one of them. She looks lost and flailing most of the time, forced to carry way too much of the narrative in the film's attempts at charm. Stone isn't necessarily to blame. Magic in the Moonlight is a minor trifle, even for late-career Allen, but this just isn't a great fit. Squad 2013. If you don't remember Gangster Squad, it's the other nostalgic, old-school Hollywood-themed movie in which Stone plays an aspiring actress who moves to Los Angeles to become famous and falls in love with Ryan Gosling. Of her 3 collaborations with Gosling, this one is easily the worst. A limp attempt at recapturing the snarl and sex appeal of a bygone era's gangster pictures, the film mostly feels like an excuse for big names to play dress-up in fedoras. Stone isn't terrible as Grace, the girlfriend of an infamous crime boss who starts to have feelings for the cop who's helping to bring him down. But despite the timeless nature of her appeal in most roles, you get the sense that she could have been a star in any era. She doesn't quite convince as a noir-ish love interest. Irrational Man 2015. The better of Stone's 2 Woody Allen films, Irrational Man finds her playing a bright, impressionable college student who's smitten with her brilliant, morose philosophy professor, who starts developing feelings for her, too. If Magic in the Moonlight was Stone's chance at a frothy Allen period comedy, Irrational Man is more crimes and misdemeanors, analyzing morality, guilt, and the absence of God in the midst of a murder plot. Stone's role is crucial. She comes to understand just how troubled and dangerous her teacher is, and must take action, but the actress doesn't bring enough gravitas to this drama. Her effervescence gets reduced to blandness in Allen's movies, which ultimately feels more like his issue than hers. Aloha 2015. Our mild defense of Stone's notorious casting as Allison Ng, an Air Force captain whose father is half Hawaiian and half Chinese, is that part of the joke of the character is that she loves bragging about her ethnically diverse background, even though she looks like, well, Emma Stone. But that joke, like many in Aloha, isn't particularly good, and it also doesn't help that Stone plays Allison with a little too much earnest adorableness, never establishing much a rapport with Bradley Cooper's spiritually adrift military contractor. Stone has since apologized for her part in the whitewashed casting, satirizing herself during a 2015 SNL skit in which she auditions for Star Wars based on her ability to play Asian characters. Amazing Spider-Man 2012 and 2014. The Mark Webb, Andrew Garfield reboot of the Spider-Man series was pretty much dead on arrival. This might be the least inspired comic book sequel since Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, but the one thing that does work is the relationship between Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. Garfield and Stone were dating in real life during the film, and it's telling that the movie essentially stops every time they start talking to each other. They're incredibly charming. Fortunately, the comic book gods must be fed, and thus, the lousiness of the rest of the movie and the end of a franchise flirtation that, all told, Stone is probably pleased to be rid of. Cruella 2021, a little more than 10 years after killing her first starring vehicle, Cruella demonstrates how far Stone has come. Playing the future Cruella de Vil in an origin story nobody asked for, she's at the peak of her movie star powers as she rocks a British accent and struts through scenes as her glammed-out alter ego, happily wrapping the film around her finger. It's a showy performance, but because there remains something so self-effacing and charming about her, it's never overindulgent. You'll get a kick out of how much a ball she's having. Unfortunately, this is an origin story nobody asked for, and the filmmakers have given her so little to work with that she has to do all the heavy lifting herself. This may be the first time that one of her films was too small to contain her. Crazy, Stupid, Love. 2011. If this irritatingly cutesy rom-com had focused more on Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling's storyline, we would have liked it a lot more. The rest of the film strains to be profound about how screwy love can be, but she's a delight as Hannah, a goody-goody law school grad who decides she's had it with her noncommittal boyfriend and takes a chance on Jacob, a seductive womanizer who's blessed to look like Ryan Gosling. Like several Stone roles, Crazy, Stupid, Love her to start off as slightly nerdy before she gets to show off her wilder side, which, naturally, is still kinda nerdy but very endearing. Hannah may be uptight, but she's funny as hell, and Stone's wise-ass attitude is on great display when she convinces him to take off his shirt, losing her mind after she finally checks out his abs. Zombieland 2009 and 2019. This is another supporting role, but she brings her no-nonsense, brash but so fun persona to the next level as one of the few survivors of the zombie holocaust, foraging throughout the bombed-out landscape with Jesse Eisenberg, Abigail Breslin and Woody Harrelson. This is a minor part, but she makes it a major one. She grabs the funky, off-kilter Zombieland and ramps it up into something soulful and warm. It was exciting to watch a star being born, while the best you can say about the ill-advised sequel is that, even though she was by then way too famous to be doing something like this, she still seemed to give it her goofy all. Battle of the Sexes 2017. Stone couldn't have known at the time. Battle of the Sexes was shot before La La Land's awards campaign really got rolling, but this crowd-pleasing biopic is the perfect soft landing after that Oscar-winning Game Changer. Here, she plays Billie Jean King, the best player in women's tennis in the early 1970s, who decides that she and her tour mates shouldn't be paid so much less than their male counterparts. The film is a feminist parable that can sometimes be too raw, favoring sentiment over nuance, but Stone supplies the heart, showing us a woman fighting for equality but also wrestling with her sexuality, getting involved with a beautiful hairdresser but keeping the relationship under wraps for fear of angering fans and promoters. The favorite 2018. As a rule, we tend not to get hung up on so-called category fraud when it comes to which actor gets positioned as the lead for Oscar consideration. That said, as great as Olivia Colman is in The Favorite, technically speaking Emma Stone's character, the conniving Abigail, is the real main character, driving the action forward and worming her way into the Queen's heart. The edginess that Stone brought to her role in Birdman was sharpened for this film, resulting in a darkly comic turn that's also surprisingly touching. Much has been made of the fact that Yorgos Lanthimos' spiky comedy is like an 18th century All About Eve, which means Stone is in the Anne Baxter role, and it's delicious watching this poisonous schemer get exactly what she wants and still receive the comeuppance that she so richly